RUTENDO Matinyarare, a name that is on the lips of South African and I'm guessing Zimbabwean tweeps alike, social media followers. Why? Because obviously of video that has surfaced about comments that he made during an interview with Leanne on Morning Live some 4 years ago, post the death of Robert Mugabe. In the comments, he had obviously praised Mugabe and I believe ZANU-PF, and so Leanne then asked him, well, I mean, if it's the land of milk and honey, I'm paraphrasing here, why don't you go back and, help everyone else get some of this milk and honey? You're such a good guy. He then obviously retorted, but you're European, why don't you go back to Europe? Now, how he came to the conclusion that Leanne Manus, born in South Africa to South African parents, is European was based on the fact that she's white. So naturally, the two sides where everyone has fallen on this issue is literally around the fact that she's white and he's black or African, therefore we're taking his side. Doesn't matter what he's saying, doesn't matter whether he's right, doesn't matter whether he's wrong. You know that sentiment? Whether ANC is right, whether they're wrong. I'm ANC until I die. Same sentiment. Whether he's right, whether he's wrong. He's an African brother, this is Africa. We would stand with him. Now, it's an interesting way to look at it, but it's kind of brought me to why I'm commenting here, because this speaks to a greater problem that we as South Africa have. And as Africans, even in general, but as black people, because, even in America and whatever, the problem is that we are victims of racism, all right? Because system of racism was created by people that were more advanced than, technologically speaking, than the black people. And the other, not black people, but not white people, who are not Arabs, because the Arabs, have always kind of held their own, right? They conquered. And as a result, we ended up, oppressed, and we ended up, held back, and we ended up in a situation where economically we are not okay. On the flip side, of the benefits of our labor as black people and, other non-white people, the white race then managed to develop to a point where, in predominantly white countries, it's fantastic. And, people living in countries which weren't originally, apparently didn't originally have white people, then obviously now they're living great there, right? Okay, fine. But now, in the grand scheme of things, the world is settled by migration, right? People move around. This happened over time. So, for example, everybody originated in South Africa and then they spread out. Then we even came back because remember, a lot of the current versions of black tribes in South Africa, us South African tribes, we after we left South Africa originally and migrated and then came back, we had come back from Central Africa. Now we're a little bit darker, some of us, etc., etc. But does that make us not South African? Are the Hottentots the only South African people? Must we all leave because the Hottentots? Oh, okay, no. Well, I mean, we're lucky in this context because technically, if we want to play this game, we can trace it back that literally we're all from here. Everyone. Everyone. But obviously, we're not playing that game. That's not the game we're playing. And because we're not playing that game, that means that we've got like border control and stuff. So that means that, well, we have to ascertain who is South African. The same way everyone else does. How are you American? How are you? Whatever. Fine. Well, the best way to figure this question out is to then say, okay, well, are you born from me? Are you born here? Oh, you were born here, that's great. Were your parents tourists when you were born here? Oh, they went to us. Oh, they were legal citizens. Oh, you're a South African. Yay. Kind of that ends that conversation, right? Oh, are your parents of Asian descent, as in like your bloodline originates from, Asia? Your parents originally from Central African descent, your bloodline can be found in Central Africa. Your parents originally from, all of that is kind of inconsequential when your parents were citizens and then you're an actual citizen. So it doesn't matter whether you're pink or brown or purple or blue, right? It doesn't. Because then no one is supposed to be anywhere in any part, any country in the world. Then everyone must leave Europe, people must leave China, we must all just migrate and all just come and live in our little silos, our little countries. Forgetting the fact that not everybody knows everything and the whole world would collapse if we were to all try that stupid idea. But we're not going to. It's never going to happen. So what are we doing? Why do we then keep dribbling ourselves and holding ourselves back because we're resentful? Do the Jews resent the Germans for the rest of their lives because a bunch of German idiots who eventually apparently went to, Argentina, but a bunch of German idiots decided to, radicalize a bunch of misguided youths, pump them full of cocaine and send them to try and conquer the world because blonde, blue-eyed people led by a brown-eyed, black-haired, but whatever, were, the perfect race. No, it's just there was a bunch of crazy people, we should be able to understand a bunch of crazy people in charge, misleading the country, running it amok, but then eventually things will change. Things change, and then the new leaders come in, and then guess what happens? Oh, look, Germany's making fantastic cars, and everything's, fantastic in Germany, bad political decisions aside. So my point I'm trying to make here is that falling on the side of a person who is in support of a government that is not benefiting their people, is forcing them to flee, their country and go to be. I'm not saying that they are, but I'm using this as a way of getting you to understand how it is. But going to be second-class citizens, third-class maybe citizens in another country and working menial labor when maybe you even have a PhD, but you can't really use it because you're illegal. So, defending that point of view just because the guy is black speaks more to the fact that you're racist than it does to the fact that racism is wrong and that white people need to, somehow pay reparations. Look, reparations and us getting back the land, that must happen at some point. We need to figure it out. Reparations can be done not maybe just by somehow everyone, including your poor white friend that borrows money from you, must somehow now be levied and taxed for the sins of every white person beforehand. No, that speaks more to the companies and stuff that benefited long term, right? And greater there's ways they can figure that out up there on a geopolitical level. But as people, we obviously are just people. I'm a South African, you're a South African, whether your neighbor's white or your neighbor's colored or your neighbor's Indian or he's an Asian dude. But if he's a South African dude, he's a South African dude. If he's a foreign national and he's not illegal, hey, that's cool. There's a German dude that lives next door. But he's if he's foreign national, is illegal, then and he's legal, you're probably dating some, cute chick from Zambia. You know what I'm saying? But if the person is illegal, they're illegal. They're a problem in your country. Now you can't then just choose racism because you don't want to think. You can't just choose racism because you are hurt. You can't just choose racism because you are stupid and there's nothing else you can really say. You can if you're stupid. There's nothing you can do, but it's wrong. If you know that you don't know what you're talking about, then rather don't say anything, because now you're kind of misleading some people into believing that it's good to stand with, a dude that likes 16-year-old girls and has confessed this himself. Come on, guys, let's be serious.